And we were looking forward to the opportunity to visit with Kevyn Adams. Congratulations to you. Everyone that gets a huge job like this one says it's a dream come true. But this one really is a dream come true. For those that aren't aware of your background and you going to the odd as a kid and falling in love with the game, tell people in the hockey world just what this means to you.
Yeah, no, it's a incredible, exciting opportunity for me, for my family, and like you said, you're right. Everybody does say a dream come true because these are very special jobs to get and one people work very hard for. But as a Western New York native, growing up watching Gilbert Perreault, I wore number 11 when I was a little guy, starting to play hockey. That's really where I fell in love with the game. The franchise, the history of the franchise, it's in my DNA. So to have this opportunity with my hometown team it's just something that's hard to put into words.
And as well, every GM kind of has their own style. They all have their own kind of way about them. Some are a little bit more active. Some are a little bit more calculated. Some are a little bit more phone dominant. Everybody kind of has their way. As you kind of chart your course in the early inception of this new role that you've gotten and that you've earned, how are you going to lean upon a couple key principles that you can share here with the NHL fans, and what will they be?
Yeah, Weeksy, you have probably more insight than a lot of people because we were teammates, and I'm going to be the exact same in this role that I was that I've been my whole life, and I've been as a teammate. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be open. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to do things consistently, a day after day, with the right message, the right way, and surround myself with great people. I really believe that collaboration and putting the right people in the room and debate and having kind of those tough conversations makes you stronger, builds trust, and then that permeates through the organization. I just feel like if you're yourself, you're genuine, you're honest, that'll come through. The players will understand. We obviously have a huge head start with Ralph Kruger and the buy-in that the players have with him and the entire coaching staff. So for me, that's a huge piece, and now I can just come in and reinforce that message and get to know the players, and they can get to know me as well.
Kevyn, I think a lot of times when you see guys come into these new roles, you like to look in, okay, well, what were they doing prior to this, or how did they work to get to this? Obviously, we all know you from when you played the game. You mentioned already playing with Weeksy. I played against you, got to know you over the last few years. Can you talk about some of the roles that you have provided for the Sabres organization that has gone down to the Harbor Center and the community influence from youth hockey all the way through that the Pegulas have done such a great job of doing in Buffalo? I mean, you've had a lot of different roles, and there's a trust there with you and the Pegula family.
Yeah, Mike, it's a great question, and I explained this the other day to some of the media that it's essentially been a 9-year interview. I started with the Sabres about 10 years ago and was hired as a player development coach under Darcy Regier and Lindy Ruff, and the next year the Pegula family purchased the team. I went from there to be an assistant coach, and then I was fired, and then the Pegula family was building Harbor Center, and they kind of pulled me aside and talked to me about the vision that they had for not just the Western New York community, but youth hockey in general and skill development and putting this all together, and asked me if I would take a lead role in that process. So I gained an incredible amount of experience on the business side and building a business from scratch, literally having to hire every person and then putting a business plan together and then ultimately executing the Pegula vision. Certainly there was the Buffalo Junior Sabre piece of that and managing that on a daily basis just to learn and understand, how that part of the business worked. And then as I transitioned from a number of years in those different roles back over to the Sabres this past year as a senior vice president, where my day-to-day responsibility was overseeing business operations, working across all the departments, making sure there was continuity and communication, and for me to have that understanding and that intimate understanding of each part of the business, I really believe will be extremely helpful to me as I step into the new role as general manager.
One word we kept hearing as we watched that announcement the other day was efficiency. What is the significance of that term being such a key buzzword within the Sabres culture?
Yeah, the efficiency part is like any business. If you can run efficiently, you can do incredible things and you can accomplish so much. And it's not efficiency can be done with a smaller group of people if you have the right people. And then I'm really, I think is what is important is being aligned. Does the staff understand ultimately what the final goal is, and then how we're going to get there? And if you march towards that day after day, and you just become a little bit better. And it's like what I started saying with Weeksy, that as a player, it's the same way. You try to get a little bit better every day. Before you go to bed, am I better than I was the day before? And if we instill that same mindset in our organization across all areas and right through to the players, what I've seen in the past and being part of some very successful franchises, that's what's worked. So we've already started, and we're gonna continue to push that.
Adsy, I want to ask you before we, first of all, thanks for joining us. I want to ask you a tough question here to end this one, though. You played with Weeksy. Did he have the beauty bag, the shower bag? That's all I remember when I played with him. He was the best smelling, the cleanest teammate I've ever had. Tell us something about Weeksy in your years in Carolina with him?
Well, there's how much time do we have? I mean, we could go on for a while, but I'm gonna give you one really, really important Weeksy thing everybody needs to know. We sat next to each other on the plane for a while, and he liked to do something with his teeth. I don't know what the thing he used, but I don't know if it was a stress reliever or just he always wanted clean teeth. But I was like, Weeksy, what are you doing? And he's like, don't worry about me. I'm taking care of myself here. So you know what I'm talking about, Weeksy.
He still takes care of himself, that's for sure.
Yes, he does. He's a star. And he's got that smile that just goes ting, like in a. Kevyn Adams, congratulations to you. And thanks so much for joining. Look at that smile. It all paid off.
Amazing.
Kevin, good luck to you and the Sabres.
Congrats,
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks, guys. Happy to join anytime. Take care.